Over the past few years, America's AI boom has looked unstoppable. Billions in venture capital, massive data center expansion, custom silicon, record-breaking chip sales, enterprise AI integration, accelerating across finance, healthcare, logistics, and media. The United States appears firmly positioned at the center of the global AI race. But beneath that momentum lies a massive hidden weakness. It's not a lack of talent. It's not a shortage of capital. It's not even model capability. It's infrastructure fragility. More specifically, energy and grid dependence. America's AI boom is built on compute, and compute runs on electricity, enormous amounts of it. Modern AI models require hyperscale clusters of advanced GPUs running continuously. Training a single large frontier model can consume vast quantities of power. Running inference for millions of users every day compounds that demand. Data centers are becoming some of the most energy-intensive facilities in the country. The hidden weakness is this: the pace of AI growth is beginning to outstrip the pace of energy infrastructure expansion. In many parts of the United States, utilities are already strained. Interconnection queues for new power projects stretch years into the future. Transformer shortages delay substation upgrades. Transmission lines require regulatory approval that can take longer than construction itself. AI companies can design new chips in months, but upgrading the grid takes years. That mismatch creates vulnerability. If power capacity cannot expand fast enough, data center deployment slows. If data center deployment slows, AI compute availability tightens. If compute tightens, innovation and enterprise adoption stall. This is not theoretical. In several major data center regions, projects have faced delays due to insufficient grid capacity. Utilities are being forced to prioritize which customers receive new power allocations. In some cases, large AI facilities are negotiating directly with energy providers to secure long-term supply agreements. Energy is becoming strategy. Another layer of this weakness is geographic concentration. A significant portion of U.S. data center capacity is clustered in a few key regions. Northern Virginia, parts of Texas, and select Midwest hubs carry enormous infrastructure load. Concentration creates efficiency, but also systemic risk. Weather events, grid failures, regulatory shifts, or local opposition can disrupt expansion in those regions. As AI becomes more central to economic productivity, localized infrastructure strain can have national implications. Water usage is another underappreciated pressure point. Many cooling systems rely on significant water consumption. As AI data centers expand, communities are increasingly scrutinizing environmental impact. In drought-prone regions, water access can become a political issue. If local governments slow approvals due to environmental concerns, AI infrastructure timelines extend further. There is also supply chain dependency embedded in the boom. Advanced chips depend on highly specialized manufacturing facilities, many of which are located outside the continental United States. While domestic semiconductor production is increasing, fabrication capacity remains globally interconnected. Geopolitical tension, export controls, or production delays can ripple through the AI ecosystem. But even beyond chips, the hidden weakness returns to electricity. AI is not like traditional cloud workloads. Power density per rack has surged. Energy consumption per training cycle continues to rise. At the same time, the U.S. energy grid was not built with AI scale demand in mind. Modernizing transmission networks, integrating renewables, and expanding baseload generation require massive investment and regulatory coordination. The AI boom assumes that power will be available when needed. That assumption is becoming less certain. There is also a financial dimension to this weakness. If energy costs rise due to supply constraints, operating expenses for AI infrastructure increase. That affects cloud pricing. Higher cloud pricing affects startups and enterprises building on AI platforms. In a competitive global environment, cost structure matters. If other regions secure cheaper, more stable energy for AI deployment, they may gain relative advantage. Another hidden vulnerability lies in overconcentration of compute ownership. A small number of hyperscalers and chip suppliers control the majority of advanced AI infrastructure. While this enables scale, it also centralizes risk. If one major provider faces operational disruption, whether from energy shortages, regulatory intervention, or supply chain interruption, the ripple effects Enterprise AI adoption often depends on these centralized providers. The broader U.S. economy is increasingly integrating AI into productivity workflows. Logistics optimization, automated customer service, financial analysis, healthcare diagnostics, manufacturing control systems. As AI moves from experimental tool to operational backbone, infrastructure reliability becomes macroeconomically significant. A prolonged data center bottleneck would not just slow tech companies. It could slow productivity gains across multiple industries. There is also a workforce dimension. AI talent is heavily concentrated in a few metropolitan hubs. While the U.S. still leads in research, global competition for skilled engineers is intensifying. Immigration policy, educational pipelines, and international competition all influence long-term talent availability. Combined with infrastructure strain, talent concentration adds another layer of fragility. Because AI progress is measured in model benchmarks, product launches, and funding rounds, infrastructure stress builds quietly in the background. Investors focus on revenue growth. Consumers focus on new features. Policymakers celebrate domestic innovation. Transformers, substations, cooling systems, and transmission lines determine how far and how fast AI can scale. America's AI boom is real. Its innovation capacity remains formidable. Capital access is deep. Entrepreneurial energy is strong. Yet its foundation depends on physical systems that evolve more slowly than software. The massive hidden weakness is not a lack of ambition. It is the growing gap between digital acceleration and physical infrastructure expansion. If that gap widens, growth slows. If addressed strategically, with grid modernization, diversified energy supply, improved cooling efficiency, and distributed infrastructure investment, the boom can continue sustainably. But if overlooked, the constraint will eventually surface in the form of delayed deployments, rising costs, and reduced competitive momentum. In the age of AI, electricity is not just a utility input, and the strength of America's AI future may depend less on algorithms and more on whether its infrastructure can keep up with its ambition.